the newly released app here by Pixelogic. Or not Pixelogic. I'm gonna get the band hammer. It's not Pixelogic anymore. It's Max and Zbrush now. So yeah, this is it, guys. We were testing it a couple of days ago. We had a little bit of a first impression thing, and I've been working on this character. Let me show it to you. There we go. So I was thinking about, you know, Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the very typical story there of the guy that becomes like a monster. And I've been working on this guy. It's been fun just playing around with the tools, and today we're just gonna start from scratch and just take a look at some of the things that we have here. Sharing inner wishes. What do you mean? What do you mean? Can you please increase my PC is on 75? Yes, I can do that. Well, actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring the microphone a little bit closer to my. This is gonna be tricky. You know what? Let me increase the gain a little bit. Is that better? Because I'm gonna have to be looking down on the iPad to work on it. So let's see. Let me know if that works, Sufan. No, that's personal preference. Can see you like whatever works for your color presentation. Yeah, I was reading an article, Beam 8, about the question that you're answering there. This is very important, guys. There is a new... I'm gonna go full screen. What the hell? Oh, that's not the full screen. This full screen. There we go. There is a trend right now in the industry where studios are shrinking, right? Investment is slowing down. Things are getting smaller. And this is, of course, as I mentioned before, a consequence of what we had after COVID. During COVID, everything ramped up, production ramped up everywhere in every single area of entertainment that you can imagine. And now we're sort of like slowing down. And this is important because now people are not really looking as much for specialists. The specialists are still going to be sought out, or the people are going to still be looking for a specialist. But if you're a generalist, if you know a little bit more about the different areas, you might be able to secure a job a little bit easier, because as a studio, it's better to have a smaller team with wider capabilities than have a very big team and everyone is a specialist in it, right? It's cheaper to have something that's a little bit smaller. So keep that in mind, because at least in the next couple of years, I think there's going to be a little bit of a shift. Now, this doesn't mean that if you're a modeler, you need to learn how to rig and animate and do particles and stuff like that. It just means that if you're a character artist that only does, I don't know, for instance, fantasy characters, well, it might be a good idea to try to do some props. It might be a good idea to try to do some environment assets. It might be a good idea to try to do some modern stuff or some sci-fi things. That way, again, your portfolio becomes a little bit wider, and you're going to be able to participate in bigger studios, okay? Yes, exactly. Beam, that's the right way to approach this. Like, yes, you are going to specialize in something. For instance, I consider myself a character artist. That's what I like doing the most. But even within my little studio here, I do a little bit of everything. I've done programming, I've done rigging, I've done animation, I've done effects, like, because that's what's needed for the production, right? Even though my personal favorite thing to do is characters. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, conversation is flying over here. Casey, what's up, Casey? Welcome to the chat as well. Sagar says, what's your relation with Nalini Kanta? He was my boss back when I was at Nextute. This was a couple of years ago. I am no longer at Nextute, but he's a good acquaintance. I'm really thankful for the opportunity that he gave me when I was at Nextute, and I wish him the best. Let's see. I'm so talented. No, I'm not talented. I'm just crazy. I'm a little bit crazy. Okay, so yeah, this is how it works, guys. Now, I am gonna preface this by saying that the new, or this Zbrush version has two different modes. The first one is the free version that has access to some of only the basic features, and then we have access to the advanced version. So, for instance, I'm pretty confident that if you don't have the paid version, you don't have access to, for instance, all of this guys right here, which is the what's the word? The Sisu that's normally inside of Zbrush. These are just like C-sphere characters that they created for a nice sort of like a beginning base mesh for your elements. So these are, I mean, it's a nice addition, this one in particular, but there's a bunch of other tools that you wouldn't have access if you don't have the paid version. Now, the price right now, at least here in Mexico, is $10 per month. It's a subscription-based thing. Not a huge fan of that, to be honest, but I still feel it's worth it due to the amount of tools that you can have. Like, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. If you, for instance, get Zbrush for iPad, let's say you're not paying for the official Zbrush or for the PC version of Zbrush, you have an iPad and you buy Zbrush. With those $10 that you invest, you can easily create a model and sell that model for $50 if it's like a commission or something, and you already like made back your investment. So that's why, even though yes, it sucks that it's it's a subscription-based program, I think if you know how to market yourself, it's totally worth it. So yeah, this is the interface right here, and it's a beautiful interface. One of the things that I love the most about this new Zbrush is that the interface is so much cleaner. I really wish that they implement this option in the desktop version, because you get so much more space for your sculpting. It's very easy to access the most common things. Like I don't have an issue like navigating all of the palettes. I'm gonna explain that in just a second, and it's just so good. Let's see, we got a couple of questions here. Hey, I hope everything's good. I always feel like even though I watch rendering videos and follow your steps, I'm never satisfied with my results. I'm always worried that it's not good enough, but my friends was also 3D think my work is good. Could this be? Yes, we have a lot of like imposter syndrome, Andy, and that's sort of like an artist thing, and things are never good. Like, I'm never happy with the stuff that I do. And I know that sounds horrible, but it's not that I'm not happy. It's that every single time I finish a piece, I always look back at that piece and I'm like, if I just started this again, it would be so much better because of all of the things that you've learned, right, through that piece. But the thing is, you need to be very mindful that you cannot just work on a piece forever. So it's better to just move on to the next one. And what I like to do personally is every couple of years, I'll just redo an old piece or work again on an old piece. I've shown this before. I have this aquatic character called the Agrok, which is like one of my sort of like designs, and every couple of years I'll just redo it and implement the new sort of like techniques and information that I've learned, and that way I can see the growth, right? So don't be too harsh on yourself there. Nora, is sculpting in Zbrush and iPad better, or on tablet, on PC? I still think it's better on PC. Like, you're gonna have more tools, you're gonna have more powerful tools. It's still gonna be like way better in PC. But I'm gonna give you a perfect example. This weekend we have the Mexican Independence Party, right? So tomorrow I'm gonna be going to a Mexican party with my family, and usually like no one arrives at time. Here in Mexico, we're very what's the word, tardy on getting into places. So I'm gonna take my iPad, and because we tend to arrive at the time or a little bit earlier, so I'm gonna take my iPad, and while we wait for people to arrive, I'm gonna be just like sculpting and playing around. That is awesome. Like, just the fact that you're gonna be able to do that is awesome. Yesterday, or like a couple of days ago, I'm working on a personal project, and I just wanted to have some rest, so I went to my bed and I was just like working on that project on the iPad. So again, it's very handy. I don't think it's gonna replace Zbrush for PC, of course. Like, people are still gonna use it, and you can see the difference here. Let me show you, because one thing that it's definitely a little bit tricky is the size, right? So this is the size of the iPad, okay, and it's not bad. It's not bad at all. But this is the size of my pen display, so you can see the difference, right? So it's more comfortable to work on this one. And I have another pen display that I take with my laptop that's 16 inches, so it's a little bit bigger, and that one is even more comfortable. So it's not a bad tool, the iPad thing. It's a really good tool, I would say, but it's not going to replace other things. Let's see. Could you do a tutorial on Stream Sheets, pretty please? So Brownie, yes, Zoe, we are going to do that, and we're going to be covering that in the environment course, but I'm not going to talk about the environment course right now. I'll talk about that later. It's not replacing Nomad Sculpt. No, it's not replacing it. Nomad Sculpt is another great alternative. I've been getting a lot of questions about that, which is, which one's better? Which one should I get? And here's what I would say, actually. Let me give you my advice about Nomad Sculpt and Zbrush for iPad. If you've never done 3D, if you're just learning about it, if you're like curious about the process, and you're like, I want to learn a little bit about digital sculpting, and you don't have a tablet, you don't want to do this in Blender or in other softwares, get Nomad. It's a one-time purchase. I think it's like $20 or something like that. Get it. try it out, learn a little bit about the basics of sculpting. If you like it and you want to pursue this professionally, I do think it's worth to make the jump to here, to Zbrush for iPad, and I'm going to explain why. In Zbrush for iPad, we have things such as C-spheres. We have things such as deformation. So for instance, all of this like deformations, the polycube cylinder, polycylinder, all of these things, band curve. We have the ability to dynamesh, remesh, decimate. I was actually mentioning, I think on the review, that we don't have decimation. We actually do have it. It's right here, Decimation Master. So if you're doing, for instance, 3D printing, if you're doing like miniatures for D&D or whatever, you can sculpt everything on your iPad, decimate it, and just send it to your PC without having Zbrush on your PC, and go directly into the slicer. So it's a really handy tool, to be honest. But I do think it's a little bit more like it's a hobby thing, like a hobby level. If you want to go there, like if you want to skip Nomad and just go straight here, it's fine. But the steep price could definitely be a thing. They could definitely be something that people might be a little bit concerned about. Nomad versus Zbrush is going to be the new Maya versus Blender, yes. But here's the thing, that one 3D artist, and someone mentioned this on the comments yesterday. The Pixologic guy, I'm going to keep saying the Pixologic guys, but the Zbrush guys, they mentioned that they did want to include the C modeler brush instead of Zbrush for iPad. When they do that, because they say they were going to include it, which is, I hope, in the next couple of months, it's just like, it's a no-brainer. Like, that's traditional poly modeling inside of an iPad, which I don't think anyone has done it so far at this level. So at that point, you can model anything. You can model a car, you can model a helicopter, you can model whatever you want inside of your iPad. So once we get to that point with the C modeler brush, I think that's like GG. Like Zbrush for iPad is gonna be the big one. The one thing that Nomad has on top of Zbrush for iPad is that I think Nomad is available for Android tablets. So if you have an Android tablet, then of course Nomad is a good option. I honestly don't see Zbrush being surpassed in the digital sculpting world anytime soon. Neither do I, Casey. And this is something with what's the word? This is something I've talked with David before, and yeah, it's not something that's gonna happen very soon, to be honest. Should we do a goblin? I always do goblins. Now let's do something different. Give me ideas of other sort of like fantasy creatures that are not goblins but that are very common. So no goblin, no orcs. Something, you know, a little bit more interesting. No, I don't think we can UV in it. Smash 3D2. We don't have UV master. Let's check real quick. Because we do have textures. There we go. So we do have textures. So you can load in an image. You can poly paint. You can create I think you can create a material from that one. But no, it doesn't seem like we can UV. Pegasus, no. Oh, Cyclops. I like the Cyclops. Cyclops sounds good. Should we do a Cyclops? That's a little bit more unique. I like the idea of a Cyclops. I did a Cyclops skull a couple of years ago, but I haven't really done one. Oh, sorry, in a while. Just burped in front of 100 people. It's very embarrassing. Sorry. There we go. So as with everything, we start with base meshes, right? We start with a basic construction of the character. We're gonna follow the rules that we normally check, for instance, on the Oni course: primary forms, secondary forms, tertiary forms, all that kind of stuff. This is where the nose would be. I kind of want to have like a forward-facing like thing. A Cyclops with a monocle. That would be interesting. And as I mentioned on the hands-on sort of like a review, one thing that I'm really impressed about is that every single sort of like shortcut, every single thing that we normally have on Zbrush is here. So for instance, if I want to bring the neck down, there we go. I just masked things out. I just inverted the mask. I just brought this forward. So every single, like all of the shortcuts that you are used to are here. Like Dynamesh, right? Just like drag and drop, and there we go. We just Dynamesh right there. As for poly count, my tablet, I've mentioned this already. I'm using the iPad Generation 10, which is like 64 gigabytes of memory. of like traditional memory. I don't even know how much RAM it has, but I don't think Apple discloses the amount of RAM as frequently. But the point is, I've been able to get this to like 20-40 million polygons split across separate meshes. Usually one mesh I can get it to like 5-6 million polygons, and then I get a little warning that says, hey, you might be reaching the limit of your device. But on the live stream, one of the demos that they did, which was like a dragon, they were able to bring it all the way to what's the word, to like I think 97 or 98 or 190, something like, it was something ridiculous. They were using the iPad Pro M4 chip version or something like that, but still, like, it was quite interesting. Okay, so yeah, we want to add an eye. Very easy, just insert a tool right there. That's it. We go into our transform gizmo and just position it where the eye is going to be. You want to switch between subtools, just Alt and click on your element, and there we go. We're back into the subtool. So again, all of the things that we're used to, they all work. The ones that I can, like the shortcut that I haven't been able to find is the polygroup, because it's usually Alt or W. So I haven't been able to find that one in particular. We have more questions here. Is auto UV mapping better, or should I stick to traditional? Traditional, Nishank. Always traditional. The only moments where I would do like automatic UV mapping is for things such as rocks or cliff sides. Like things that are not going to deform and they're going to be very static meshes and that are very sort of like rough. Because as soon as you have like an object, I don't know, like a clock or like a lamp or something, you definitely need clean UVs for any sort of like texture work that you're going to be doing. But if you're just doing stones or rocks or things like that, you might not need that as much. Cyclops do have noses, right? There we go. I mean, a standard right here. Once you buy the full version, you get access to all of the brushes. And you can import brushes. I have ones right here. Oh. So here, user, I got my old brushes, you know, the ones that we use for stylized stuff. So I just imported them. You need to save them on your iPad, sort of like locally. But yeah, again, very, very sort of like seamless, flawless experience so far. Let's see. Can you connect it to your monitor so you don't have to be? No, you cannot. I mean, I can, right? Like right now, I'm streaming it, so I could potentially be looking at it and just be drawing right here. But at that point, I mean, again, you guys gotta understand where the iPad works. Like this setup that we have right now, it's stupid. I understand it's stupid because I have my computer right here, I have my pen display right here, I have Zbrush on my computer, so it makes no sense for me to be using my iPad right here. Like I don't think I will ever be just like, I don't know, checking emails and working on my iPad. Like that's just ridiculous, right? This is for on-the-go sculpting. Right now I'm doing it for the demonstration purposes, but it's not something that you're going to be doing. So you're more often than not going to be on the bus, you're going to be on a plane, you're going to be like, I don't know, someone waiting for a meeting somewhere in an office, and you can just like bring your iPad out and keep working. I think that's the main sort of like purpose of this version of Zbrush. If you have your computer by you and you have your tablet, like there's no reason why you should be doing or you should be working on your iPad. Like this, here's another one. Someone was asking about my leg. Thankfully, I'm walking normally again. I still cannot run or lift weights or anything. I'm still waiting for everything to perfectly heal. But when I got my accident, or when I had my accident a couple of months ago, this would have been a godsend because I would have been lying in bed just resting and I could continue working on some of my sculpts, right? So those are, I think, the kind of like positions that could work. Actually, there's another like really interesting user case or case use. I don't know how you say that, but people who, for instance, have problems like sitting down, like people who are maybe, I don't know, like paraplegic or something like that. If you cannot be on a computer, and you want to keep sculpting, this is amazing. Like, this is really, really good. Like, if you see it from an inclusion kind of like approach, I think that's also another like very important part of the whole thing, because someone who cannot walk or be a long periods of time near a computer but wants to continue being a sculptor, now you're gonna be able to do it. That's pretty cool. There was this very famous guy, I'm not sure if you guys are into like the fighting game community. I used to be a couple of years ago. I used to play a lot of Street Fighter V. And there was this guy called Broly Lex. He unfortunately passed away a couple of months ago, I think. And he had a disability, or I'm not sure how you say that, but he had like a, I'm not sure if it was like arthritis or some sort of like degenerative thing. And he was a great player. So he played with some like interesting controllers. So that's why I think having more options, like in this case Zbrush for iPad, is also a good thing for artists that are in a similar situation. Let's see, how do you train high-res detail after you sculpt your assets and transfer it? Just transfer it, man. Like, it's an FBX, it's an OBJ, so you just, yeah, import and export. No, it's not no, it's super easy. I cannot show it to you right now because the Wi-Fi where I'm at sucks. You need to be on the same network. You open Zbrush 2025 for PC. That's very important. It needs to be the newest version. So Zbrush 2025 for PC. And then you just open this little option right here, the export. It will look for your device and it will just export it. And that's it. It will load. It's like GoC. So it will load into Zbrush in your PC and you can keep working there. So that's what I did yesterday. I was working on my laptop on this character that I'm doing. And then I just felt tired and I wanted to go back to the bed, and I just did that. I transferred the character from the laptop to the iPad, went to bed, keep working on it, and then the next day I just did the opposite thing. Like, I just transferred it back from the iPad to the laptop and just kept working on the laptop. Very, very convenient again. It's one of those things that I think really, really like helps. I personally, this is a little bit of a nitpick from me, I personally don't love the stylus. I have the Apple Generation 1 pen. I don't love it. I prefer my like a stylus from my tablet, from my Huion, because the surface of the tablet is glass, right? So it feels smooth, and with the pen display, it feels a little bit coarser, not super coarse, right? Like sandpaper, but it just like has a little bit more grip to it. Again, that's just personal preference, and it's nitpicking, right? I feel like a douche talking about those like super nitpicky things, but it's one of those things. It's just a stupid excuse. But if you guys are sensitive to those kind of elements, well, that's another thing you might want to take into consideration. Let's see. So is this Maxon's answer to hobbyists? I think, yeah, I think one like potential market for them is definitely hobbyists. That's one of them. And another potential market is for people who do travel a lot. Because I know, for instance, consultants or art directors, they won't be like I don't want to compare myself to them, but I do move quite a bit to like the schools, classes, meetings, to the museums and things like that. So I there's a couple of weeks where I'm not, like yesterday, I did not, like this studio was completely closed. Like there was nothing going on here because I had other stuff to do. So for those types of artists that are going to be moving quite a bit, I also feel like this is a good option, because if there's stuff that they need to work on, they're going to be able to do it. Start fixing a little bit of the chest area right here. But yeah, I also think that hobbyists are gonna really benefit from this. You're gonna get a good understanding of the thing. And again, if you learn it in the PC version or if you learn it here on the iPad version, once you want to transfer to the other one, super easy. Super easy. Like all of the content that I've done for Zbrush perfectly applies to this one. There might be, again, a couple of tools that won't work just yet, like we talked about, like the C model. But for instance, we have knife brushes. You guys want to see the knife brush? So you gotta press Control and Shift. You can press both of these buttons, and here's the knife brush, the knife curve that we normally do. Again, Control Shift, Control Shift, and then we can just clean up the skull. So Again, all of the tools that we normally have, or most of them, are here. Greetings from Chile, from Lord Byron. You're a great inspiration and source of learning. Thank you, man. Welcome to the chat. Y con confianza, si quieres hablar en español y escribir el mensaje en español, lo puedes hacer, ¿eh? No hay ningún problema. Yeah, it's a great move on Max, definitely. Can you suggest any iPad version where we can work smoothly? Like this one that I have, iPad version 10, so generation 10, like the basic version. Again, I think it's perfectly fine for sort of like an entry-level thing. If you can afford it, then jumping to the next sort of like tier, which are the Air, the iPad Airs, is a good option. Or you can get like one of the older, like an iPad Pro that was released like a couple years ago. That's also another like a good alternative. It really depends how much work you're going to be doing. If you're going to be doing simple stuff like what I'm doing right here, then I think the iPad 10 generation is more than fine. If you want a little bit of extra power, or you're going to be doing other things, because I know some people like to do like video editing and things like that with their iPads. I would never do that, to be honest. But if you are going to be doing something like that, then you might want to try like an iPad Air or like an iPad Pro. It does need to run iOS 17, I believe, is the basic sort of like OS that it needs. So just be careful there. And of course, if you're gonna be saving a lot of stuff, you might wanna have more memory. This one is one of the things that I don't like about this tablet. But again, I just got it to read books, to be honest. But it only has 64 gigabytes and it cannot be expanded. So the other day I was trying to install a game. I was trying to install Honkai Star Rail, and it didn't fit. Like with all my books and all of the things that I have, I just didn't have space. So if you want a game and you want to have a lot of like media and books and sculpt, then I might recommend going for like a higher version. Right now we're at 125,000 points. I'm gonna go here to Dynamesh and just increase the resolution a little bit. Let's re-Dynamesh. And now we're gonna be at 2 million points. So right now we're 2 million points. And with this, we should be able to start working on some finer details, right? There we go. Let's see. Maybe you should do a course for ZBrush for iPad once it gets more popular over time. That's a great idea, Mr. J. That's a great idea. And yes, that's something that's definitely on the plans. We'll see. Yeah, lots. Yeah, and again, like if this is your first introduction to the 3D world, like to 3D sculpting, like if ZBrush for iPad is gonna be sort of like the new Blender, right? Like people are asking, hey, I want to sculpt, and they go online and they look, and it's like, oh, everyone's using ZBrush for iPad, I'm gonna try that. It's great. It's a great way to start. Let's give this guy a little bit of a weirder head. Actually, you know what, guys? Usually, cyclops are a little bit dumb. And usually a smaller head, like a smaller skull, is a good way to sort of like imply that the character is not as bright. Now, I want to show you something very cool here, guys. We need to save real quick. So let me save this. Oh, that's a cool thing. Like, I think you can write. Nah. What is going on? Don't tell me we just encountered a book. No, there we go. So, I tried this yesterday. Huh, for some reason it's not working. Uh-oh. I think we're getting our first bug right here. Let's say, transpose master. That's a good question, Fernando. Let me take a look. Let me take a look. That I am says, I really want to pick up an iPad for this because I do travel a lot and would love working around anywhere. The 8GB RAM iPad is the cheapest and you can get up to 40-50 minutes. The 16GB can, do you think that's worth it for almost? I don't think so. That I am. Again, I mean, if you can afford it, go for it, right? I don't think I'm gonna be buying the iPad Pro just to be able to sculpt a little bit more. Okay, so the cool thing is, like, for some reason this like name tool just like bugged out. I don't know why. But the thing is, we have a quick save, so let's close this real quick. Yeah, like that. There we go, and we open. Same. Tap on the little keyboard icon in the corner. I missed that one, Juan. But let's just open the quick save file. So we go here, sculpts, quick saves, should be right here. There we go. So what I want to show you here is the sort of like optimization process, because one thing that I realized is that Dynamesh is heavy, right? And it starts lagging a little bit when you rotate. It doesn't lag when you sculpt, but the interface can lag a little bit. So what you can do is what I normally teach you guys to do in the courses, which is transfer this into a subdivision level approach, right? And it's very simple. We're just going to go to Subtools. We are going to tap or hold on this one, duplicate. I'm going to hide them for just a second, grab this one again. And then over here, we have the C remesher. So we're going to C remesh this thing. I don't use iPad, but I heard there is a program called BizRef that is really good for reference. It's similar to Riv. I was looking at the forums yesterday, and it seems like it's having a little bit of an issue with like showing it on top. But yeah, is there any course you would personally love to create, Andy? I want to do another full character course like I did with Thyros, but that one's a big one. So that one's the one that I really want to convert into a workshop. So it will be videos plus like a live session and live follow thing. What other thing would I like to do? No, we've pretty much done everything. I mean, there's still more stuff to do, right? But like if you're talking about like who would I like to be sponsored by, like it would be very cool if, for instance, Gaia, the guys that are doing terrain, would sponsor us to do like a terrain thing. Who else would be interesting? The guys from Embergen, you know, like learning about that sort of like BFX pipeline will be interesting. So yeah, okay, so here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to subdivide. So now I'm going to subdivide once, two, I think 3 times should be more than enough for now. And we can go back to our subtools and just project. We do have Transpose Master. Someone was asking this. We do have Transpose Master. There we go. It's right here. Transpose Master. So we're going to project. And what am I missing? Project all. There we go. So now we will project the Dynamesh stuff to this subdivision level, and it's going to work a little bit better. Yes, we're not going to be able to change the silhouette anymore and recalculate, right? But right now, I think we have most of our forms there, and this is usually the way I like to work. Let's select this one and delete it. Okay, perfect. So see that? Very, very handy. Now we have all of the detail, and as you can see, when we rotate, now it sort of like switches back to the first version, to the first subdivision level, and then it goes back to the final like detail that we have, and that's how we can optimize this thing. So let's grab our clay buildup. I'm going to change the alpha to a round alpha, start getting a little bit more form here. I just clicked my keyboard trying to switch to the move brush. Freaking habits, right? My god, I forget about this. I just did it automatically. Have you guys ever tried to Control C in real life? It's very embarrassing as well. Let's see. Love your content. Yay, Felix. I've bought 2 of your courses so far and love them. How long would you guess it would take someone at your level to make a detailed character model from scratch for 3D printing? 1 day. I can do 1 character in a day. I've done it before. Like, I've done like a full character. Well, it depends on the character, right? Like if you tell me, can you do Tarzan, right? And it's just anatomy and a loincloth, I can do it in like probably like 6 hours or something like that to a good level. But if you tell me, hey, I want you to do freaking a Space Marine from Warhammer, that's gonna take a couple more like time, right? Like it's definitely gonna be a little bit more complex because of all of the different assets. But I would say usually for 3D printing, since you're reusing or using a lot of base meshes and you don't have to worry about topology and a lot of technical things that we normally do, you should be able to produce a character in like 1 day or two. Like 16 hours, 20 hours of work should be a good amount of time for a character like that. Like I follow a Patreon. His name is Artisan Guild, or the artist's name is Andrea Tarabella, and he does miniatures for D&D. I've been following him for almost 4 years now, I think, and he sculpts like 12 different characters or 15 different characters per month. So it's like 2 a day, right? He's really fast, but he's only focused on the what's the word? On 3D printing, right? For miniatures. So he doesn't have to retopologize, he doesn't have to UV. That's why it's very important that you guys understand that every single sort of like pipeline or project is different. Okay, let's add some teeth now. Just preparing the space right there for the fangs. So let's go here, new sphere. Let's go to this one. Should we do 2 fangs or should we do multiple fangs? What do you guys think? Thinking maybe 2 and maybe a couple of odd ones. Like 2 big ones, right? Let's start with 2 big ones. I'm gonna duplicate this one because I'm gonna be using it in just a second. Duplicate, there we go. So this one's gonna be one of the sort of like asymmetrical ones. Details are always a good way. See, for instance, that's another shortcut that we use frequently in Zbrush, which is Alt and Control and drag to duplicate a subtool in its own sort of like subtool thing. So another sort of like little crazy fang there, and then we can go back to this one, and if we go to the deformations, where is it? Tool, and then deformation. We got the no, sorry, not deformation. It's a geometry, and then modify topology, mirror and weld. There we go. That's how we can add some like fangs to our character right there. Not bad, right? Not freaking bad. Let's see. Samu says, "Hi Ave, can you recommend me something to sculpt that is good for practicing improving skills? Like a character you think has a good of..." Again, like nude character, well, not nude characters, but characters that have very little cloth are really good to learn anatomy. So things like Tarzan, Barbarians, Vikings, Caveman, like all of those characters are very like cool, Samu. Animals are also great practice, so trying to do like a T-Rex or trying to do like a rhino. Skulls are also very good, so find something that excites you. Like I remember when I was first learning, I was doing, I mean, I'm still doing that, but I'm still doing a lot of like fantasy stuff because that's what I like. And then if you learn this, you can translate this to aliens, you can translate this to vampires, you can translate this to pretty much anything. So don't worry too much about what to practice. I would say it's a little bit better to focus on practicing, because a lot of people get stuck on the sort of like thinking process of, oh, what should I do? What's the best option? Sometimes it's not about the best option. Sometimes it's just about any option, just doing the work, right? Just like do it. And then as you're doing it, you're going to realize, oh, this worked nicely, or, oh, this didn't work this nicely. And you adapt, you change, you evaluate, and you modify certain things. But if you worry too much about finding, again, the perfect sort of like exercise or the perfect whatever, you're gonna lose too much time. Mirror just flips to the other axis. Mirror and weld, yeah, exactly. Mirror just moves it to the other side, and mirror and then flip does the other thing. Is there a way to use the spotlight for references on iPad? I don't think so. I haven't seen the spotlight. I usually don't use the spotlight as much either. So I'm gonna say no. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be here, so I don't think so, man. Let's polish this a little bit right there. I love the option to select the brushes like very quickly down here. And you can customize that, by the way. You can customize the lower. We can isolate solo. I have more questions. Also, after you isolate the top poly group, the delete is hidden. Sorry, forgot that part. How do you deal with the hand touching the screen and doing things like undoes accidentally? I haven't had that issue too much. I touch with my pinky on the side here, and sometimes I turn on the polyframe thing, but I really haven't had that much of an issue, to be honest. Like, I guess the iPad knows that the pen has priority, so it obeys the pen more than it obeys the fingers. Because right now my pinky finger is resting on the screen, and again, it's not really doing anything, so. Let's see. When someone said Cyclops, I was thinking X-Men Cyclops. No, I mentioned sort of like a fantasy creature. Because I didn't want to do another goblin, so. There we go. Can we use a Bluetooth keyboard with this? I heard that you can. I haven't tried it. I do have a Bluetooth keyboard, but I don't have it here with me, and I don't think it's charged. So, yeah, and at that point, I think it just becomes like a traditional tablet, right? Because it's pretty much like if you were working on a computer. Which, again, depending on your particular case, might be something that you want, or that's just redundant. In my case, it will be redundant. Again, I have my studio PC right here, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So yeah, we're not even at 1,000,000 polygons, and as you can see, this thing is holding out nicely. I'm gonna add some sort of like eye bag right there. Should we add some horns? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that would be a little bit too much. Are you working on an indie game, or is your studio making a game? If not, do you think you're gonna try making one? Anis, we do virtual reality experiences. I mean, they're games, but they're short games, right? So let me try to explain how our studio works. A museum calls us and they're like, hey, we want to renovate stuff. We want to make our museum a little bit more interesting for people to come and visit, right? And depending on the type of museum they are, for instance, the one that we work with closely here in the city is a desert-themed museum, and they have a lot of dinosaur expositions. They're like, oh, cool, let's do something dinosaur-related. So for this museum, we've done 3 experiences, 3 games. One of them is a dinosaur one, another one is an Ice Age experience, and the last one that we did is about the desert, right? So like the history of the Mexican desert. All of those experiences are roughly 7 to 9 minutes long, depending on the experience, and it's a virtual reality experience. And we do everything. We do animation, modeling, programming, like everything. And those experiences are sold within the museum. So you go to the museum, and then you pay a little extra there to play that experience. They're not available like on Steam Store or anything like that. They're just for the internal use of the museums, kind of like unique experiences, right? So that's what we do. We finished one of those experiences earlier this year for another museum. It's a very famous Mexican museum called Cricri. He's sort of like an it's like an old school guy. It's kind of like our Disney, actually, like our Walt Disney. He created a bunch of music for kids, for children, and he's very well regarded in sort of like the musical space. So he has a museum in Orizaba, and this is for any Mexican viewers right now. If you want to go there, there's a VR experience that we did there on that museum, on the Orizaba Museum. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff that we do here at the museum. We also do, or the studio, sorry, we also do like product renders. We've done a couple of commercials, you know, anything that can pay the bills pretty much. Right now we're in the early stages of the sort of like the planning of the new experience that we're going to be doing for the museum. We're still deciding what the theme is going to be, the resources that we're going to need, etc., etc. So that's why if you go to my LinkedIn, I don't call myself a 3D artist per se. Of course, I am a 3D artist, but from a business level, I do more sort of like producing. So I'm a producer. So I listen to the client's needs, and then I create a product or a solution for them. Sometimes I do it by myself as a freelance. Sometimes I do it as a team. I build a team, I hire a team or something, and then we'll work on the product, right? So that's what I do. That's my sort of like a day-to-day business. I have a partner, of course, like I'm not doing this alone. And we have a small team of artists right now. That team has grown. Like the biggest amount of teams that we had was 15, I think, or 12. I think it was 12. 12 plus some admin stuff. And that was a big team because we have a bunch of projects at that time. But then, as with everything, sometimes things change, projects shrink, and we need to adapt to that. Let's see. I want to work in the games industry, but working for museums sounds really fun too. Yeah, and that's what I tell you guys. Like, this is something that I discovered relatively soon in my career, and I'm glad I did, because it really changed my perspective of life in general. I realized that what I like to do the most was 3D. Like, I really don't care if I'm doing 3D for 3D printing, for museums, for architecture, for games, for film. I just like the 3D process, right? And those are the skills that I've been cultivating throughout this years. So I'm quite open to working in any type of like content. So if you guys have that open mind, you're going to be doing great, because like I've had some, for instance, the students that do jewelry. I've done jewelry commissions before as well. So the market for 3D stuff is quite big. I do think we tend to focus a little bit too much on just like the gaming and film aspect of it, like the entertainment industry. But your skills as a 3D artist can really be used in a bunch of different ways. For instance, some of my friends are graphic designers. And I also have seen that there's a bunch of people who do graphic design think that most of the time they're going to be working for advertisement. That's usually the go-to sort of like job. But there's children books illustration, there's product like a marketing and stuff like that. There is scientific illustration, for instance. Again, there's so many things, so many things. How do you get involved with museums? That's a funny story, and that's why networking is so important. I literally started working with someone else, and that someone else recommended me to the director of the museum, and that's how it started. And initially, I was doing just renders for them. I was doing, they were doing some renovations on the museum, and they wanted to see how it would look before they actually like paid for it. So I was doing some renders for them and that thing, and yeah, just like the friendships kept growing, and at one point we were like, hey, would you guys be interested in doing something like VR? And they're like, oh, sure, send us or do a proposal, like work on a proof of concept, and let's see how this works. And after we showed them some early examples, they just really liked it. It was like, yeah, let's do it. So now we have a whole sort of like pavilion there in the museum where we do VR. Very, very cool. But that's a sort of like a different, this is interesting because it's not the same thing as doing 3D like what we're doing right now. And this is something that I do feel is important for everyone to understand. Nowadays, at least in the past couple of years, I would say 50% of my time is me doing like business stuff, going to meetings, talking with clients, listening to feedback, checking that everything is like moving like nicely, organizing the operations at the different museums that we're working with, doing accountability, you know, like checking who needs to be paid what. Like literally 50% of my time is that, like business management. So it's just management. And the other 50% is actually like doing 3D and doing art. If you don't want to do management, if you don't want to do that, then like all of these things that I'm saying are not really going to apply to you. But all of the other things, like the fact that you could work for people who are doing that kind of businesses, is definitely valuable, right? So just keep that in mind, because that's an important distinction people should understand. In this world, there's so many things like logistics. There's again, like human resources, and there's so many things that you could do. Like I know artists, for instance, that eventually transition into a more of a management position, right? Like recruiters. Like there are artists who initially started as artists, and thanks to their good eye in finding out who was a good artist, they now are recruiters. So on their day-to-day job, they might not be doing a lot of art themselves. They're gonna be just looking at art, right? So there's a lot of that stuff. What's the requirements to join our team? Well, the first requirement will be that we will be hiring. Right now, we're not hiring, so unfortunately, I don't have any open positions right now. But if I ever do, first thing I'm going to do is probably post that on our job listing there on the Discord. What do you need? You need a good portfolio. You need to show me that you have the skills that I'm looking for the team. Solid Mango, what's up, man? Welcome. Let me just check, because talking about logistics, I'm waiting for a message here. Let me see. David, are you there? I'm coordinating the you know what about the you know who that sent that you know what. It arrived properly. It's gonna be arriving over here, hopefully in the next couple of days. How many polygons does your iPad support? My iPad gets all the way to like 40, 50 polygons. Million polygons, right? 50 polygons, imagine that. Let's see. Georgie, what's up, man? Can you give more things one can do with 3D as a skill? I would love to get a video on it. Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned this before. Like, I would say, let's... actually, no, we can do this. Okay, let me say real quick. Cyclops. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna turn off the iPad for just a second. We'll come back to it in a bit, because I think it's a great question. Let's go to. There we go. The similar crashes happens as well, similar to PC, or yeah, I've had similar crashes when I trying to like do very intense like Dynameshes and things like that. Okay, so let's call this the sort of like the stages or the industries in 3D, right? Here we go. So at the top we got games, film, and commercials. Okay, so or advertisement, let's call this. These are the three big sort of like pillars of the entertainment industry where 3D is mostly used. Then let's go to the sub categories, which is 3D print, ArcVis, so architectural visualization, And I would add BR in here. So this is like the second level of things that you can do with these things. And what I mean by this is, at least from my experience, the amount of job opportunities and the size of studios and things like that that are doing this kind of stuff. Then you get into like the niches, right? Like niche things that you're gonna find, such as jewelry. That's another niche that I can like sort of like see there. We got things such as AR. I would consider BR to be a little bit bigger than AR right now. There we go. And then finally, what will be another interesting niche here? Yes, you know what? Like manufacturing things. Yeah, like the manufacture industry. Concepting here on the big one. So it's part of the pipeline, Sarn, I would say. So if you're a 3D concept artist, you're probably going to be working for a game studio, for a film studio, or for advertisement. So on the sort of like top tier of things. Okay, now here's the interesting thing, guys. Here's a very, very interesting thing about this like very quick graph that I'm showing you here. There's a lot of competition here. There's not a lot of competition here. There's more prestige here, right? Like things are more famous over here. Things are not as famous over here. Crunch time and things like that is usually heavier over here. It's not as heavy over here because since there's less competition, you are working in a more sort of like comfortable environment, because it's difficult for someone to come in and just like take your job easily because there's not a lot of competition. The problem is, the lower you go into these things, or into this sort of like tier of things, the more so like side specialization you're gonna have to have, right? So if you, for instance, want to get into 3D printing, you are going to learn how do 3D printers work, right? Like material specifications, times, waste, proper support placement, things that you normally don't hear about when you're doing games, film, or advertisements. And for VR, like when you get into VR stuff, even though it's very similar to games, there's other things that you need to take into account because the VR systems are not as strong as a console, right? Same thing all the way over here. If you go to jewelry, you're gonna have to learn about like measurements, you're gonna have to learn about material expansion, you're gonna have to learn about casting. So you start going into like a bunch of different things, right? And it's important that you understand that like 3D can be applied to all of these niches right here. The things that you normally hear about are in this sort of like top most commonly known niche, but there's so many other things down here that you can learn about, and you could find an interesting niche for you, which is very, very interesting. I follow a bunch of other influencers that talk about this, and it's like, hey, we're so concerned about being the best on something that's like very competitive when there's so many other unexplored areas where you could be the best. I remember one of my teachers from Noman. He's a Zbrush artist, Eric Keller. You probably have seen his tutorials as well. He's very, very famous. And he is an entomologist. He really likes entomology, right? Like the study of insects. So he's a specialist. That's his niche. And I remember him telling us that he would do like very advanced scientific models of bugs. And he would sell those for a good amount of money, like a really, really good amount of money. So that's why I tell you guys, don't like, just keep your mind open for other possibilities out there, because again, I feel like we focus too much on what's shiny, which in this case is of course the gaming industries, and that's perfectly fine, but you can make a really good living on other things that you would not even like imagine. So again, keep your mind open. Let me bring the iPad back. There we go. Yeah, Milton right there, for instance, he's doing anime collectibles. There we go. That's another one. I remember a peer of mine from Noman. He's also very... Oh, his name is out there. He's, I would say, quite big in the collectible industry. His name is James Marzano. Really, really talented sculptor. Again, that's his niche. He does collectibles. So, my advice there, guys, keep your mind open. Like, just... Don't just pigeonhole yourself into a specific thing when there are so many other things that you could like learn about and be really good about. That's another one. And this one's gonna be a little bit of a hard reality. You might not be that good in certain things. Like, I'm not that good in like hard surface things. I'm proficient. I can do it, but it's not my strong suit. So if I want to be the next, what's the name? Oh man, I forgot about his name. If I want to try to be the next, let's say, Vitaly Volgarov, right? It's gonna be really challenging because I'm not really that good at that specific skill set. Like, I don't have the sort of like the design or the background to have a lot of like mental libraries of mechs and things like that. So find what you're good at, because you will be more successful if you focus on the things that you're good at. Now, if you're good at something and you enjoy doing it, that's the golden combination, right? Like that's what we're looking. That's what we are all looking for. Explanation: in this niche, you will extreme knowledge, and it's pretty hard. What I mean by manufacturing explanation, it's not really like creating your own like pieces, because it's also very, very intense, and those are industrial designers, right, that are going to be competing against you in that specific one. What I meant is, for instance, we've done like renders of safety, like safety renders of here's how you need to use this machine, here's how you need to create this product in the pipeline. We did a VR experience of a whole process where people would pretty much replicate the exact same things that they would be doing on the plant. So like a game on how to create this specific product. That's the kind of stuff that I meant, not really like creating your own like manufacturing things, but rather helping or aiding that sort of like a process. Ilya says, I'm a creative designer, but I want to work as a sculptor for collectibles like anime figures or miniatures. What can you suggest me to do or learn? Well, anatomy, of course. It depends how good you are with anatomy. And the best way you can do it is start doing some fan arts. Go and find, like, I don't know, what's the famous anime right now? Jujutsu Kaisen, I think people are watching that one a lot. Try to do a fan art of one of those and see what people think, right? And as I always tell you guys, you need to go and compare yourself or compare your work to what people are doing out there. So go online, Ilyas, and look for the anime figures that you like, the anime figures that people are buying. And that's your quality bar, because those are products that are selling right now. So there we go. Solid Manga say, take the anatomy course on Ape's website. Yeah, that one I think it's a really good one for anatomy. That's a superhero. We do like a superhero character, Duncan, Guardian of Custodes Astra. We're gonna go back to that story, by the way. Some of you guys suggested we do like a female anatomy course, and we've already decided that the female course is gonna be like the enemy of Duncan, like the arch enemy. So that's another one of the courses that's on the pipeline. I did one fan art of these animes, but in realistic version. Oh well, we would yeah, I can take a look at after the stream, man. But yeah, like, just it's important that you look at what other people are doing, okay? Now this is another, actually, Ilyas, I'm gonna give you a very, very important piece of advice here, because you are asking about that specifically, and this is a very interesting thing that I feel people miss sometimes when they're creating, especially when you're looking at this from a more of entrepreneurial way, right? So if you want to create a product, if you want to create a product and sell it, any kind of product, you need to understand what the market wants, right? So if you're telling me, hey, I did a realistic version of an anime character, you gotta ask yourself, is there a market for that? Like, are people looking to buy or to get realistic versions of their animes? I personally wouldn't. Like, I like certain types of characters, right? And if I like the anime version of the character and I want to have a figure of that character, I don't want to have a realistic version of that character. Like, if you tell me, hey, I don't know, for instance, a Xenoblade 3, right? Like, really great game. I really like it. If you would sell me a Noah, which is one of the characters' figure, in a realistic way, I wouldn't buy it. I want to have the anime version of Noah, right? Because that's the one I'm used to from the game. Now, if you see that there is indeed a market for that specific thing, that's cool, because that means that you could potentially find what we were talking about, a niche. Something that people will be like, oh, Ilyas right here is really good at doing this specific version of characters, which are like a realistic version. But then I also find that happens quite frequently, where people are very, very like the ego gets in our way, right? And you're like, I really want to do this product, I really want to do this specific thing for everyone to buy it, and then you do it and you realize it's not selling because people don't resonate with it as much, and you're like, oh no, they're wrong because they cannot appreciate my art. It's like, no dude, you made a mistake. You did not like properly did your research to know what kind of stuff people were looking for. And it's not saying that the thing that you are doing is wrong or it's bad. It's just that as a product, again, from a business perspective, it's not working. Have you guys seen like Shark Tank or Dragon's Den? This like programs where people go in and they like pitch a business idea to the investors. Like that happens all the time. Like you might have a really good idea, but it's not the same thing to have a really good idea and to have a really successful or a good business idea, right? If you want to do it for yourself and for your friends or commissions, that's fine. But once you want to scale, you got to take a different kind of decisions. That's why we see that, and again, sometimes those decisions can really backfire if people don't do their job properly. Like what we saw a couple of weeks ago with Concord. Like they thought that's what people wanted, right? Like this sort of like raunchy, like characters, kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy shooter styles. Like no, they completely missed the mark. Like people do not want that anymore. Maybe that game could have been a success a couple of years ago, but not now. And again, that's another like talk, because it's not the same thing to be doing something for your portfolio, for instance, than to be spending time and money on a project that's supposed to bring in a revenue and keep the thing going, right? So I guess that was one of the things that I had an issue with, or that took me a while to sort of like understand, which is art as art is one thing, but art as a business is another thing completely. And you as an artist need to be able to separate those two things and understand that a lot of the stuff that you're going to be doing that's going to get you paid, it's going to be art that you're doing as a business, right? As part of a studio, as part of a project, as part of something that's supposed to bring money back. Art that you do just for yourself or for artistic growth, that's a different kind of art, okay? And it's a little bit of a tough position there, but it's important that you guys know that difference. Because we talked about this, right? At the end of the day, what we're doing is a job. It's a job like any other job out there. Casey there with an excellent advice. It says, what I would suggest is go back to what made you happy as a kid, what excited you, work on that stuff, and then find a group around that and post it. Yep, that's exactly right. It's a great advice. Great advice. What should we add to this cycle right here? Because we're pretty much done with secondary forms. We can start adding more details, of course. Let's work a little bit on the ears. I hate ears. Have I shared that with you guys? Like, ears are my least favorite part to sculpt. I don't know, I just find them very boring. I don't like sculpting ears. How far is the iPad version of Zbrush 8? Is it good enough to... Yeah, totally, man. Like, it's there. The only thing it's missing, Alan, is the C modeler brush. It's just missing the C modeler brush, and they say that they were going to add it, and a couple of the plugins, I would say. Like, if they could bring some of the plugins, like Subtool Master, for instance, and if they could bring something like... which one is also another one? Because Decimation Master is already here. Yeah, I think maybe just like Subtool Master. A couple of extra brushes that might be missing. The ones that are usually on the light box. But yeah, not bad. Like, not a bad alternative, to be honest. Not a bad alternative and not a bad option. So if you don't have a powerful PC but you do have an iPad, for instance, excellent way to get into the sculpting world. Yeah, it's very optimized. That I was also very surprised about that. I don't think Blender is gonna be coming to iPad, to be honest. too that one's too big of a project because it has way more stuff, right? Like animation and rendering, post-production, like all of those things. I would be very surprised if they can bring it. Maybe like a Blender Lite, but again at that point, going back to what we're talking about, like if it's a product you're gonna sell, like how successful is it actually going to be, right? Can you tell the best course for Zbrush and anatomy? Yes, as Casey is mentioning there, you can of course check my course. So this one right here, Anatomy for 3D Artists, from Sculpting to 3D Print. This is a course specifically about Zbrush and specifically about anatomy. We cover every single part of the body, torso, legs, feet, hands, everything. And in the final chapters, we also work on the 3D printing, right? So this is Duncan. I have the statue. I'm not gonna bring it right now, but it's up there. I have the statue up there. I wanna do a little bit of a decoration change here on the set, so we might get rid of some of the bookshelves and bring like a table so that we can have all of the 3D prints and something. But yeah, that's coming. It's coming. YSDA, dude, you're awesome. You are awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Let me check this real quick. Let's see, I need to finish my job on Substance Painter and then I'll buy the anatomy course. Yeah, man. It's gonna be there. People were asking, like, this is one of the things that I'm, like, surprised about, because people sometimes send me a message and it's like, hey, if I buy the course, how long will I be able to access it? And that feels horrible, because it feels like companies have sort of, like, indoctrinated us to think that things are subscription-based, so they're not gonna last. My courses, they're like, you pay once and you own it forever, okay? So that's it. There's no hidden fees, no nothing. Just get the course and you can practice it for as long as you want. It has the files. You can send me a message. You can write reviews. I think. What if yeah, right? If Maxim buys us, then well, that may be a little bit different. I hope to get enough channel points to get the course. Can you? Do we have that available, David? With points? I don't think so. Do we? Yeah, exactly. It's like buying the DVDs in old times. Okay, let's go to subdivision. And let's add one more subdivision level. So now we are at 3 million polys. And with 3 million polys, we should be able to start adding like more interesting detail here. So I'm gonna give it a very quick smooth pass to remove all of those like brush strokes that we had. And now we can really focus on the wrinkles, right? It says 500,000 points for the course and 1 million for the private session. Oh, there you go. Yeah, go for it, man. How do you get those points? Just by watching, right? I think. Or can you buy those points? I don't even know. I would recommend the anatomy course first, Alan. I would really recommend the anatomy course first. Why? Because Thyros expects you to know a little bit more about that one. And if you start with the anatomy course first, you might be in time when you finish it to get sort of like the new version of the Thyros course, which I want to do. So it's going to be like an updated one. Watch for 5 minutes, 10 claim special bonuses, participate in a raid, follow this channel. Oh, there you go. There you go. I got a little bit discouraged when you reviewed the portfolio of the other guy yesterday. It was a little bit harsh to hear. I'm not sure exactly which one you're talking about, Mr. Blonde, because I mean, we do have the second channel and we're uploading some of the portfolios there. I try to be as nice as possible with the portfolio reviews, but I also need to be like, I don't want to be giving you false hopes, right? So if someone shows me portfolio that's really lacking in certain skills, it's usually presentation, by the way. And by the way, we have the free course about presentation. If you want to check it out, it's on the site. But it's usually presentation. I need to be not mean, right? But I need to be honest and be like, hey, dude, this is not working. This is not a good result. You need to practice this. You need to improve there. Because I also think that that's a big problem with some universities. They just care about you paying, and they'll tell you, oh yeah, you're doing great. Yeah, your portfolio is amazing. And then you go out to the real world and you see like the real amazing portfolios, and you're like, I'm nowhere near there. That didn't happen to me, by the way. Like, no one doesn't do that, to be honest. Like, I had very honest teachers that were like, Abe, this sucks. You need to do better. And I would improve, and I would like do better stuff. But I know, unfortunately, like, I have a couple of close friends of mine that went to different schools. And I remember when they graduated, they were like, dude, I learned more from your Maya course or from your Zbrush course than what they taught me at school. And to me, that's always both very encouraging, because that means that I'm doing a good job with my with my courses, but it's also very discouraging, because I'm like, damn, dude, like, it sucks that you had to go through that experience and you sometimes paid a lot of money and you didn't get what you were looking for. Like, I do, how do you say it? I'm very proud about what I always try to deliver with the courses. And you can go and check Udemy, you can go and check the site. Like, I have 4.8, 5-star reviews all the time. One of the feedbacks that I get usually is that I speak too fast. And I apologize for that. I do speak very fast sometimes. But I don't think I've ever done like a course that sucks. I do try to be, or have a really high quality VAR for that kind of stuff, because I feel like, hey, if you're trusting me and you're buying something, I want to make sure you're happy with what you're getting. You made me want to get a refund. White minus, really? I've noticed colleges tend to be really surface level with what they teach. Yes, and you know why that is, Alan? Because of something called bureaucracy. Unfortunately, and I can tell you this firsthand, because when I was with one of the universities that I work with, I was there on the sort of like planning stages of the course, of the curriculum. And I told them, hey, we need this, we need that, this is the kind of classes that we need to teach. And I told them, and every year I need to update this. So if, for instance, I'm teaching Zbrush 2017 or 2018, next year I'm going to be teaching Zbrush 2019, and I need to change the curriculum to reflect the new tools that have been added, for instance. And they told me, we cannot do that. We cannot do that, because to approve a change in curriculum requires a lot of time and analysis and things like that. So unfortunately, the sort of compromise that we got to is like, you can teach the new versions, but on the curriculum it needs to say what has been approved. Again, because of freaking bureaucracy and how the Department of Education wants everything to be handled. So, do I agree with it? Definitely no. But unfortunately, you also need to learn to sort of like pick your battles. You're not gonna be able to win all the battles, right? So, it's like, okay, let's just go with it. At the uni. I thought about my courses. Yeah. But again, I've mentioned this before, and we had a video a couple of weeks ago about should I go to school or not. And most of the times I say yes if it's a good school, right? Why? Because one of the things, and I cannot stress this enough, one of the things that you're gonna learn at uni are soft skills, right? Like get to know people, network, all that sort of stuff. And you will get a good sort of like idea of how the industry sort of like works, because most of the time the teachers that teach there will have some industry experience. So that's the kind of stuff that you should be getting. Not everyone should be getting that. I did mention in that video, if you're already older, like if you're, I don't know, more than 25 or something like that, you can get a lot of the skills on your own, because more often than not, you usually already went through some sort of like education, so you can sort of like speed run the process a little bit. But if you're younger, if you're 17, 18, go to college. It will help you. Doesn't have to be the most expensive college. There's other options out there, but it will help you. Because that's another thing I've noticed recently. A lot of students or younger artists, they're really good on a technical level. Like they can do really, really good like 3D. But they suck. They suck at the social skills. Like they get very nervous when they're trying to explain something, or when you give them feedback, they get really emotional because they think they suck and they're really bad, or they don't know how to follow instructions. I mean, even in the freaking like a Discord, guys, we added the message: if you submit your portfolio and you do not include a message explaining what you want to do and stuff like that, your portfolio is gonna be ignored. And every single month, someone will submit their portfolio without adding a message. I mean, what can I do there for you, man? Like at that point, there's nothing. Like it's very difficult for me to help you out at that point, right? What do I think about Think Tank? It's a really good school. I think it has won like a top school in the past couple of years at the Rookies. If you're in Think Tank, by the way, I am part now of their mentorship program. So if you're studying at Think Tank and you are about to pick a mentor, I'm there, so you can look for me and I can be your mentor as well. Yeah, we're gonna do a reading course now. Yeah, that would be really interesting. I agree 100%. If you're older, wisdom is a thing and you tend to retain what you learn better. So just drop a few bucks into various tutorials and that's... Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I understand that there might be a language barrier problem, White Minus, but there's this thing that you need to understand as well. You are responsible for your own issues, right? So if I, Abe, know that I have a language problem and I see a message with warnings and I try to read it and I don't understand it, I mean, can't you just like select it, Control-C, Control-B in Google Translate, get it into your language and understand the message? Right? Like, I feel like that would be my responsibility to be very mature about it and be like, I don't understand what they're trying to communicate here. Let me find the solution, right? Like, it's my responsibility to find the solution for that sort of stuff. Ha, there you go, Anus. Anus Key. Is it Anus? Anise? But yeah. And here's another thing, White Minus. That this is again, and it's again talking about the social skills. Okay, someone gives me an instruction. I have a what's the word? I have a problem with my language. Like language barrier is a problem. I tried to translate it. I did my first try of translating it myself with Google Translate, and I still don't understand. Well, that's when you go for the next one, and you send a message. It's like, hey, Ave, I saw that there's a special notification. I don't understand. Can you explain? And usually people will be more kind enough to explain it to you. But it's one of those things that you need to, again, be responsible of finding your own solutions. Like I'm gonna give you a perfect example, and hopefully I don't sound like a dick by saying this, but I've had questions on the comments on the shorts and on the YouTube channel that I'm like, dude, I will help you because I like helping, and sometimes I do have the the time to do so. But why are you asking me what's the shortcut for extrude? Why are you asking me where to connect an opacity map? Why are you asking me how to export a file from Zbrush? Like all of those things that you're asking on the comments and on the YouTube channel and sometimes even on Discord are one Google search away from you. And you're gonna find the solutions very, very easy to follow. It's just that. I understand that sometimes there's gonna be things that you don't know, and then asking for that is a good way to learn. But you should definitely try to find the solution for yourself first before you actually go in there and ask for someone else's help. Because then it feels very entitled, I would say, is the word, right? Like, you feel entitled to an answer. It's like, do your work first. Do your, like, try to find the solution for you first. And it's not because it's not because we cannot help you, right? Or because you cannot find help somewhere else. It's because that will make you a better artist and a better person, pretty much, right? Wow, this thing... Oh, it died again? Okay. It should be on the quick save. There we go. Okay, see, this is... Maybe someone who's been using iPad can... what's the word? Can help me here. I don't know why every time I'm trying to save, it asks me to save it again. Like, I'm not sure why it does it. And it's weird, because now if I go back to home, I'm going to have 2 copies of this, and I'm going to have to delete the other ones. But if someone knows the solution there, let me know. Because I thought it was supposed to save, like, here. Like, I just did a couple of changes, right? If I tried saving again... Oh, actually, it did save now. Ah, maybe it's just a quick save. I don't know. It's weird. Exactly. Looking for solutions is one of the biggest skills in art. Yeah. Does mentorship thing start from year 1? No, I don't think so, man. I think it starts a little bit later. It's because people like to be lazy. Yeah. What's the most complicated character or asset you've ever worked on, or at least the one you're most proud of? It's definitely Thyros. I think that one's the most ambitious one that I've done. And here's the thing, Alan. And again, going back to the business side of art and the like artist side of art, most of the stuff that we do with VR, from a technical standpoint, like in modeling, texturing, it's relatively simple. It needs to be simplified. It's for kids. It's more cartoon. I don't have that in my portfolio. But Thyros was one of the big projects that I did that was really, really cool, and I really enjoyed it. The Diablo commercial that I did a couple of, or I helped with, I didn't do it all, of course, but I helped or participated a couple years ago. That was also a very, like, cool project. But to be honest, I always try to do, like, cool things for the tutorials. People got used to being spoon-fed, yeah. Yeah, I agree, Evil Fry, I agree. Finding a solution, yep, exactly. Okay, let's keep going here with the details. So, this is another question that I got asked on the other video. Like, for instance, here, I'm gonna grab my, just the standard brush, drag rect, and we can go to alphas. And again, you can download more alphas. But for instance, let me see if we have some sort of like, yeah, like this one's not bad. And again, exactly the same as in the traditional Zbrush right there. Hey, there we go. We got a Juan Guerra tattoo. We got a sub right there. Thanks, man. Gonna bring the C intensity down. With this one, what I like to do, here's a cool trick, guys, and this one again applies to the Zbrush for PC. So you grab a skin alpha like this one, but instead of grabbing the drag rect, you grab spray. And by doing this, you can give this a sort of like leathery texture. Can you see that? Look at that. Right? Because it's every time you're like dragging your brush on top of the element, it's changing the texture, or it's changing the rotation of the element, and you get this very like nice interweaving pattern of like skin texture. So you don't have those super fancy alphas. They're very helpful though. If you can get the XYZ alphas, those are really, really good. But even with just a very simple alpha, you can add a very nice sort of like leathery texture to the whole skin. Now I'm gonna change to alpha 07. Same stuff. That's gonna give me more of a crackly skin, and then I can go, for instance, drag rect, and I'm gonna C-sub. Let's increase the intensity quite a bit. Oh, that's a little bit too much. We do have morph target though. I don't think we have layers yet, or at least I haven't found them, but we do have morph target, so that's another cool thing. Are there any final rendering tools? We have BPR. I have not played them. To be honest, I don't like the rendering tools, even in Zbrush. I usually don't do my renders inside of Zbrush. Maybe it's because I never like properly learned how to do that. But I just think that if you know how to do renders inside of Blender or Maya, or even Marmoset, you might as well do it there. If you have Max on 1 though, and you have access to Redshift with GPU, that could be another, again, good option, to be honest. I don't have Max on 1, I just pay for my Zbrush license and that's it. And the Redshift that you get with just the license is just the CPU. And that one is very, very slow. It's a little bit of a damaged skin right now. Maybe a little bit too much. No, I don't feel the iPad is getting hot, White Minus. I don't think so. Shido says, you're a great teacher, Ave, and I've bought courses from Nexus of yours. Thanks, my friend. I'm glad you've found those useful. The newest stuff, because as I mentioned before, I'm no longer at Nextud. So the newest stuff you're going to find on my website. Okay, so if you want to keep your skills up to date or you want to learn some new skills, you can find those on aveleal3d.com. I think you need to add the www. So www.aveleal3d.com. Well, there we go, guys. Do you guys have any more questions about Zbrush for iPad for now? Because I kind of want to go to the computer and maybe start working on the other character, on the dwarf character, on a little bit of retopology. But before I close the iPad, if there's any more questions with this quick demo that we did here, let me know. Is Blender for you in terms of sculpting limited or good comparing to Zbrush? It's good. It's good, Mr. Blonde. It's definitely good. Yes, Alan. I definitely think, like, if they could implement a switch to switch between the interfaces on Zbrush for PC, that would be great, because this right here is just good. There's a license for Zbrush on Steam like the one for Substance Painter? No, Maggot. There's no license on Steam. Do you usually sculpt eye irises or just texture? It depends on the character. Most of the times it's just texture, but I've sculpted a couple, especially for normal map baking. Posture seems, yeah, right now it's definitely rough. I'm like crouching down way too much. But if you're like just sitting down or in your bed or in a chair, it works very nicely. Can you create your own brushes and alphas like in the PC version? You can customize them, I'm pretty sure. So here you have all of these things. So yeah, you can create insert meshes. And I'm pretty sure you could save them. Let's go here, brushes. Yeah, there we go, create. So seems like you can. Yeah. Alphas, I'm not sure. I don't think we have the option to capture the alpha. Let me check here. Oh, yeah, no, make alpha. There you go. So yeah, we can click this. It's gonna capture, I guess, the scene. Did it capture it? User? Yeah, I'm not sure, but there has to be a way. Yeah. Yeah, flip kicks. It definitely looks quite dope. Is there a free version of Zbrush for iPad? Yes, there is a free version, Maggot. It does not include all of the brushes, nor all of the features, but it includes some of the basic stuff, so you can try it out, and then you need to subscribe. If you are paying for your Zbrush subscription, or for the Max on 1, or the Max on 1 student thing, you will have access to Zbrush for iPad as well. So, for instance, in my case, I'm paying, I think it's $45 per month for the Zbrush for PC version, and my account is linked to Zbrush for iPad, so I don't have to pay again. It's included. Is there a limit of polygons also like the free one in PC? That's a good question, Evil Fry. I'm not sure. Would you suggest Zbrush for iPad for a beginner? Yes, Crow. I think it's a really good way to get into Zbrush because the interface is definitely way more approachable compared to the very intimidating Zbrush interface that we have in PC. And pretty much all of the stuff here is the exact same as in PC, so quite nice. Is Bachelor in Fine Art degree beneficial for 3D? It definitely helps, Amit. Like, if you already have it, it's definitely going to help you. If you tell me, should I get one while still learning about 3D? Maybe not. Maybe just specialize in 3D, to be honest. I saw on the post there is a limit for iPad, but it's per subtool. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure. Might be, but to be honest, I haven't had an issue. Yeah, Nomad is really good, flip kicks. I was talking about this. I do think the rendering things for Nomad is better, but the sculpting things that this one has from ZBrush is better. Do you post your courses on Skillshare? No, Antique, and I've explained why before. It also has a very weird way of like distributing the revenue. They do this sort of like per minute watch revenue thing, and I don't like it as much. I'm a keyboard person. I use my keyboard for shortcuts while using keyboards. Do you use a keyboard like me? When I'm working on Zbrush for PC, Anuva, yes, I do. But for the iPad, no. Everything is on the screen. Is there any other software to create map like in Substance Painter? I need to find a software to build maps. Yes, Nation, you can do that in Marmoset. Marmoset can texture as well and can bake. And 3D Code. Those are the three big ones, I would say. Substance Painter, Marmoset Toolbag, and 3D Code. No, I don't think it's going to be a Nomad Sculpt killer, Alan, because there's people that don't like subscription-based stuff. So if they just want to buy it once and they are going to do simple things, maybe some advanced stuff as well, it might be fine. Which iPad is best? So if I had to recommend an iPad, I would recommend the one that I'm using right now, which is the Generation 10. Let me show you. Give me 1 second. I'm moving the iPad now. We're gonna switch to PC, okay? Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay, so let's switch to display. So iPad 10 Gen. This is the one that I have. I actually have this one, the blue one. And this one is relatively accessible, I would say. I think, for instance, here in Mexico is at 8,000 pesos, which will be like $400. You are going to need the pencil. Make sure that you get the pencil that has a pressure sensitivity enabled. Otherwise, you're going to have to be changing that, and that's not what you want to do. So this one is the one that we would recommend to buy. Yes, the Air M2 is also another good one, but it's going to be a little bit pricier. So, for instance, here in Mexico, let me see if I can get a price. Yeah, it's doubled or almost triple the amount of the price. So it's almost 20,000 pesos, which is like $1,000. So yeah, it really depends on your again just budget. But I was working, like, all of the demo that I just did was on this one, like at the basic iPad 10th generation, and it worked. I'm not gonna say flawlessly, but perfectly capable. Okay, so we got 1 hour left, guys. What should we do? Oh god. What should we do? Did I... no, I didn't feel like any big amount of lag, Maggot. Maybe a little bit when rotating, especially when I was working with really high subdivision levels or high polygons. But when sculpting, it was perfectly fine. Can we get into a studio abroad if we're working in the same studio in a respective country? It's a complicated question, man. Yes, technically it's a little bit easier because you're within their sort of like environment already, within their... Oh, you want me to play Wukong? You guys want to play Wukong? We can play Wukong. We can do that. Yeah, let's play some Wukong. I'll go. I need to go for my controller, but let's play some Wukong. But yeah, it's the thing with getting or doing migration or migrating to another country is that there's a lot of, again, bureaucracy and papers involved, and sometimes it's easier for the studio to just buy or to just get an artist, like a local artist, before they bring you in. Okay, let's do Wukong then. But I need to go for my controller. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back. I'll go for the controller. 2 minutes, guys. Let's see. We got a couple more questions. Okay. Library. Black Myth Wukong. Okay. Yeah, no, nothing crutches anymore, Alan. I'm walking normally. I still can't run. I still feel a little bit of pain. But I think it's more of the muscles and the ligaments and all that stuff need a little bit of repair stuff. There we go. We have a question on YouTube. Says, regarding texturing, can a Quixel mixer reach the level of a Substance Painter? I've seen some stuff do it, Crow, but I don't think it can get there, to be honest. You need way more control. So let's turn off the music. And let's launch... Oh, let me connect my controller here. There we go. And let's play some Black Myth Wukong. We haven't really played on the stream. Let's see how we do. Because last time I tried playing Baldur's Gate and I got so I got so focused on the story that I forgot to read the what's the thing? I forgot to read the chat and it got very quiet. iPad 10th generation only has the one that I have, Eurofry, is actually 64 gigabytes. So if you can get that 256, that's even better, I would say. I've just barely started the game the other day, so we're literally in the first level. Oh, no, Tech, if you're gonna go for a pen display like Wacom or Hoyon, it's definitely better. iPad it's a nice addition. It's a nice sort of like secondary way to work, but as a professional artist, you're still going to be doing it on a computer, on a tablet. Again, if you're not a professional artist and you just want to do this as a sort of like a hobbyist level, or just like get yourself, you know, like understand a little bit how sculpting works, it's a good way to do it as well. I normally don't play in this computer, by the way. Like I run the games in my computer, but I am always playing at my house with like a Steam Link. So this is also sort of like a relatively new for me because again, I normally don't play. Let me know how's the audio on the game, by the way. Can I use my iPad as a graphic tablet on PC? There is a way, Antique Gamer. Not officially though. Someone did like a hack thing where you can do that, but it's not ideal. Have you ever thought about streaming Spanish? I have Maggot, but again, we have people from all over the world, so it would be very weird to do it in Spanish. I'm trying to find ways to do some like events here in Mexico. So we're gonna have one event probably in October here in my hometown, and I'm trying to see if I can do another event maybe on November in Monterrey, and that one will be of course in Spanish. Let's go. In Guadalajara, yeah. I mean, if you're in the university, man, tell them to reach out to me and I'll be happy to arrange something. Yeah, no, I definitely want to, and eventually, if life allows it, it would be very cool to go to other countries as well. Yeah, Substance was originally done by the team at Algorithmic. I'm not sure if they were French, but it was so good. To be honest, that's one of the softwares that I'm not too sad that Adobe got, because at least they've respected the thing about the student licenses, which I was very worried about. So yeah. Oh, nice, yeah. Anselmo Toledo, freaking amazing artist, man, amazing. What do you think is the poly count of the main character? At least 2,000 triangles, 200,000. Nishank, it's just way too much. I do feel like the loading times are a little bit on the long side of things. I'm not sure if it's because I'm streaming right now. Let's see. Definitely taking a long time here. This is not crashing though. Yeah. So you went to there was this event break something, right? Drawbreak? What's it called? Drawbreak. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Come on, Wukong. We want to play. We want to play. It's taking a little bit too long. Let me check and make sure that it didn't crash or something. Well, let's close some stuff. This one we don't need. There we go. Oh, come on. Don't lag, man. Don't lag. You can do it. You can do it. I think it's finishing lagging. There we go. Oh, it's having some dips here. And I do have a strong graphics card, so I'm not sure what it is. Anthony, what's up, man? Maybe it's because I'm streaming, but I don't know. Let's try that. So yeah, let's see task manager. What do we have? No, we're good. Look at that. 40%, 33, 19, so I think we're within the balance here. But yeah, this game looks beautiful. Oh, you know what? Yeah, it's on an HDD, so it might be that. It's on an HDD. I might need to change that. I tried that guide the other day. It gave me the beating of my life, so we are going to skip him. Yeah, it might be the streaming settings as well. I like the powers, like this one. Boom. Just freeze the guy. So one of the things that surprised me quite a bit about this game is that they seem to be using quite a bit of photogrammetry. So photogrammetry is all of this like scans that you see right here. So all of these rocks, they do seem more like photogrammetry rocks than they are like handmade. So yeah, that's just very interesting. Animations are also very, very nice. Yeah, like the trees, that's also another thing that you normally, like, that level of detail that you see there right there on the trunk, that's not something that's easy to sculpt. Like, it takes a lot of effort to be able to sculpt and texture to that level. So it's probably some sort of photogrammetry. Mr. Sir Giant Guy, I am just gonna move ahead and escape. I need to be stronger to get there. Okay, this bridge right here is a perfect example on how to do things modularly. Like when you're building something like this bridge right here, this wooden bridge, you just do it once, right? Like you just do a couple of planks and then you repeat them a lot of times. So this plank right here, you can see it because of the ropes. This plank right here is the exact same plank as this one right here. They're just moved in a different position. So you do 5, 6, 7, or 8 planks and then you repeat them. And thanks to all of this layering, all of these different layerings, you get a super complex like element without really trying to do it everything at once, right? Then on top of that, you have these leaves, which are probably some alpha. I'm not sure if they're meshes. They kind of look like meshes, so that might be just like assets or just a normal map or something. But yeah, it's a very ingenious way. Why do I not have like B-Sync enabled? Where are settings? Graphics. Where is the display? B-Sync. There we go. So I was getting a weird tear there on the screen. Rabbits! for the archer first. I was surprised. I was expecting this game to be like Elden Ring, a little bit more Souls-like, but it's more action-y. Reminds me a little bit of like God of War, and I like that because even though I love Elden Ring, it's very difficult, and I cannot like have enough time to work on everything.
Don't want to set off that beast. In the backyard is Blackwind Gwy's ally. Calls itself.
Okay. Oh, give me 1 second.
I suggest you.
So I'm missing the YouTube chat. There we go. What beast? What beast, my friend? Oh, what we can offer incense. Is Nanite used in Unreal for this game? I'm not sure. They might be doing. Let's rest. They might be using it, to be honest. Oh, I can craft armor. Interesting. Okay, let's craft it. Nice. Confirm. And now I'm missing materials, of course. Okay. It's a fighting game native who needs the skill points. Oh, there you go.
Once you pass that gate, there's no.
Okay, so this is the first boss, I guess. Well, let's give it a shot. You guys are gonna see how bad of a gamer I am. Oh, it's this guy. I saw the video. Link Sushi. Oh my god. Okay. I got this. Come on. No, this is PC, man. I got this. Yeah, it's giving me a little bit of Monster Hunter vibes. So it's just a matter of being patient here. You guys can see that this guy is hair cards, right? So that's why you need to learn hair cards. You want to do creatures like that? Oh. Oh my god. This is bad. Oh my god. He's hitting like a freaking truck. No, this is hair cards. Like the character's made out of hair cards. Yeah, because you can see how stiff they are. Oh yeah, I don't have any more of this potion thing. Oh my god, now this... I don't think I'm gonna make it, guys. I don't think I'm gonna make it. I definitely lasted more than I thought I would. Ah, God. Got greedy there. I got greedy. Wait, there's 2 faces to this guy? I thought that was gonna be it. Okay, okay. I think I can do it. I think I can do it. Yeah, that was quite close. Let's see. How the correction, even models for sculpting. What about textures with... Yeah, no, this is definitely some sort of like substance and stuff. Let's see. There was a store here. Can I buy like a bigger stick or something? What can I buy? What can I sell? So I can sell this? No issue? Armor material, weapon material. Okay, then that means I can craft armor. Let me see if I can have some like points or something. Self-advance. Yeah, I got some points. Okay. Let's do survival. So let's do 1 life point here. Should we do 1 more life point? Or strength? Let's do strength. Let's go glass cannon. Grandma focus on single mode like combo. No, I don't like that. Yeah, let's do another one of this. Okay, what's this? I need points, but I don't have those points. And for this, I need more sparks. Okay. Okay, we got this. Yeah, no, there's some sort of like craft system. Let's go. Oh my god. That's not a good way to start. Oh my god, it's like a freaking piñata there. Oh my god. That's new. Dodge, 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 dodge. I told you guys, I really suck at this thing. Okay, so it's 2 strikes right there. So it's 2 swipes on that attack. My god. Now, I'm probably gonna lose this one, but I'm getting the... I think I'm getting the hang of this. Okay, we got this. 1 more. I do have, Alias has him, I do have a haircut tutorial. I did this like 3 months ago or something. You can look for the live stream. It's a goblin, and we did like the little bit of the beard. But for something like this character right here, you're gonna need a lot of patience because it's a lot of haircuts to place. Okay. Now we got surprised there at the beginning with the attacks. I think we can do this. Oh my god, again? That first attack is very fast. Okay, come on. Okay, 1 swipe. That's the double swipe thing. Oh my god. That attack is super cool though. I'm not even mad. We got this, we got this. Okay, that was a good one, that was a good one. We got full life, or almost full life, and this guy's almost there, almost there. We got this, we got this. Ah! Okay, let's keep it simple. Keep it simple. We're almost with the freezing power. No, no! Oh my god. I got greedy there! Oh, I got too greedy. Oh, too greedy there, man. Fuck! Oh, that was so close. But I got too greedy at the end. He was still a couple of combos away. No, I'm playing, Paras. I'm playing. Yeah, you're having a little bit of fun. We're gonna try it one more time, okay? One more time. This game is a Black Myth Wukong, guys. No, I'm not taking... What character design? Swag 3060. Yeah, I almost got it there. I'm trying to see if I'm missing something here. What's this? Increases... I can do it. Can I use this? Yes, let's use this. Okay, so we got a little bit of armor there. Again, that freaking double swipe, man. Oh. Wrong button! Wrong button! There we go. Yeah, it's gonna be a battle. Oh my god. That's a lot of rich. One. Oh man. Okay, that was a fast one. What are hair cards? Hair cards are transparent planes that have the information of where the hair follicles are, pretty much, each strand of hair. And it's a lot easier for the engine to render that plane with the transparency of all of the individual hairs than it would be to render each individual hair, okay? So, what I'm curious about... Oh, we lost the potion. Okay, I'm gonna use one more potion. Let's try it one more time. That one was a bad one. We're gonna do one more time and then we're gonna be... we're gonna be over here. Okay. Okay. So the first swipe's always like getting me. There we go. First swipe survived. That was a good combo. Okay, that's better. That's better. Good start. Good start. Oh my god. He got me with that one. Come on, roll, roll. Okay, we're doing better, I think. Oh my god. Ah, I got that one down already. Not that one. Fuck! After I got the first double swipe down, now he's getting me with this other one. That's the first time he did that. I don't think I've seen that one before. Now I'm gonna have to go without the freaking, like, potion. Don't you lose the vibes of the game sometimes? I mean, you know how it's made. No, not really. Well, see, Jimmy, it really needs to be, like, really badly made from a, like, texturing or modeling perspective or something to really get me out of it. Like, that happened to me with the latest Pokemon one, the Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. I'm a huge, like, Pokemon fan, right? And the textures were so freaking bad, like so bad. So it's not something that I enjoyed playing. I actually didn't even finish that one because it was just like very shitty. Which didn't really happen with the Sword and Shield, which was also not ideal, but it was just like, I don't know. Since it was the first one on the Switch, I kind of gave them the benefit of the doubt. But for this new one, I do feel like they should have made something better. Playing a little bit more aggressive now. Let's see how good that works. Oh, that's a very wide one. Yeah, exactly. The last two gens have been quite disappointing. I love that one. I'm not even mad when he gets me with that attack because it's just so good. Ah, wow, he got really out. That was really fast. Oh my god. Ah, I lost the focus. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good combo there. I'm gonna freeze him when he comes down. Easy, easy. We got him. We got him. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, we got this fucker. Oh my god. There we go. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Nice. Oh man.
Take a good look around. A great picture. The black wind.
We got a new thing here. Oh, that's pretty sick. What do we get? Inflicts considerably more damage bonus on enemies at critical health. Okay, that looks like a good option. There we go. That was easy. Well, yeah, I'm not gonna exactly say it was easy, but it was not that bad. It took me a lot less than I thought. I thought it was gonna take me like 7 tries or something. What was it, like 5? I think we did like 5 tries, right? Reminds me that there was this very cool monster in the Monster Hunter Rise called the Lunagaron. So it was good. It was similar to that. Let's look for any more treasures here. There we go. I don't think there's anything. A couple of plants maybe. Yeah, we did it, man. We did it. Like all of this foliage. Oh, it takes a long time to do. Oh, there we go. We got a little chest right here. See, I'm sure most of you can do this chest. Like, it's not a difficult model. Texture-wise, it does have some nice textures, but it's a simple model. Last game I played, I feel like it's always good. It was Baldur's Gate 3, and I was not a fan of turn-based games. I have not finished that one, unfortunately. It's a great game, but yeah. Okay, let's keep moving. Wait, if I go back, you guys who have played this, if I go back and rest to get my flask back, do I have to fight this guy again? I hope not. So I definitely need my flask back. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Maxwag. Yeah, the Render Hub character design contest. No, I have not checked it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have time to enter, to be honest. But oh, there we go. Yeah, thankfully we don't have to fight him again. Yeah, Paras, the little sort of like shadow that he leaves behind when you. I'm not sure if it was a perfect dodge, but yeah. Ooh, what's this? Celestial J-Lo's pill. Okay, cool. Oh, we get more life. Oh, there we go. So yeah, so this definitely feels more like an action game. So like God of War, rather than Elden Ring. Because Elden Ring, you always have the same amount of life, right? You just change your armor and defense. This is 31st of October deadline. Interesting. I might check it out. That's okay. So this right here, this is what we call physics, right? So that thing right there has a pivot point. This is engine. This is something that you do in the engine. So you place a constraint on that top part of the bell, and then it just pivots from there. I definitely feel it feels a little bit too, like the mass that they added to this bell is too small. That's why it like flops so heavily. I'll probably just change the mass a little bit. And that's of course destruction. I was not expecting to destroy it, to be honest. I wanted to see if the bell would ring, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, it felt very lightweight there. But yeah, like the environment is gorgeous. Are you a bad guy? Yeah. There you go. Yeah, Jimmy. I mean, we had a cool stream today with the iPad or Zbrush for iPad, and after that, I was like, hey, why not have a little bit of fun today? Oh, this one's cool. Oh, you're good. Okay.
You don't look like a Yaogwai from these parts.
Look through the black
Hear
ones.
me. That bear. Don't waste your time on it.
Okay, do we attack you?
He lies about cheap Blackwind.
Okay. Meditate. Yeah, I don't get to play a lot of games, or at least this kind of games. I always feel like I should be working. I play games that are a little bit faster, you know, like a game of chess or something like that. A hut. Do they call this creature in Chinese mythos? There we go. That's like a checkpoint, right? Oh, nice. Sparks. Can I get anything else? See you, maggot! There you go, man. See you on the next one. The animations in this game are also amazing. I'm curious, has anyone seen any like behind the scenes? Are the animations mocap or did they like hand animated things? Because some of them do feel a little bit mocap-y, but most of them are very fluid, so I'm wondering if it's animation. How many polygons do I think has been used for the mesh in these games? Well, a lot, right? Like all of this photogrammetry rocks. I mean, you can kind of see the profile. Like if you go really close there, can you see the triangulation on the silhouette? So this is just like sort of like decimation master or something, which is fine for this kind of facets. You don't really need it. But there's a lot of polygons in here. This one right here, for instance, this pillar. Again, you can see the silhouette. Whenever you're considering or trying to study the polygons, look for the silhouette. And here you can see the very clean silhouette. Can you see the sharp angle on the top corner? So that's quite low poly, right? Because this thing is very, very square. So you don't need too many polygons. Like all of that information right there on the cracks, all of that information can be easily captured with normal maps. However, I do see that they did bake some of this. But that's the magic of normal maps and all of the textures that we do. I'm guessing this whole pillar right there, it's probably like less than 10,000 triangles. It depends if they're counting in these little statues here on the bottom or not. But yeah. Wukong, but with Donatello mode. Have they done those mods already? Shido says mocap. Yeah, it does give me a little bit of a mocap vibe. No, they don't retopo fry. No, they just decimate. Remember, you only need to do retopology, or what we normally call proper topology, if the object is going to be animating or deforming, okay? It's pretty much deformation, because you could... What the hell is that? Is it like poison? I'm getting poisoned. What the hell? So if the object is going to be animated, you do need to do, or deforming, you do need to do retopo. But if not, you don't really need it. These guys are poisoning me. How do I get rid of the poison? So far, yes, Toasted. So far, yes. I'm enjoying it. How the hell do I get rid of the poison? Thank you for the follow, Scroll Reaper. Yeah, environment art is very, very technical. Well, not very. Like, it's... Well, no, actually it is technical. Oh, I thought you were a good guy. Oh, is that like a Kenku? Oh, this one's so... Gotcha. That kind of look like a Kenku. What the hell is this? Oh, it's awesome. Decimated things have some bad UVs. Yes, yes. It's not, again, it's not that they're bad UVs, Jimmy. And that's the thing about 3D. This is something that I want everyone to be aware of. There are no, well, no, actually, that's going to sound like an absolute. Not everything that you do for certain types of assets is going to be good or bad for other types of assets, right? So, for instance, rocks, right? Like all of these rocks, all of these photogrammetry rocks, they're just decimated meshes. They don't have a lot of like information with proper edge flow and things like that. And the UVs might look very ugly as well, but it needs to be that way so that it looks good here in the engine. Again, it's a rock. It doesn't really matter. Even this statue, we can do that same process and it's not really going to matter. But you cannot do that for the character itself or for the enemies. So it's not going to be super optimal. But again, it's not really that you need to worry about optimization all the time. It depends a lot on the project.
Have you seen those nameless souls?
Yeah, exactly. As Hudson says right there on YouTube, not every model needs to have good UVs. Again, if you can hide the seam and you're gonna have deformation and things like that, no problem.
Mine answers solely to me. I know a way to guide the souls, mend their paths, and set them free. It will aid you.
Oh, nice. He's gonna give me another one of these thingies. Oh, he's gonna fix my little goat, or no. How many polygons are in this game? Millions. Definitely millions. But again, I've mentioned this before, guys. Polygon or poly count is no longer the limiting factor in games. Texture resolution and texture loading is one of the big bottlenecks that we have nowadays. Engines can run with billions of polygons now, and it's not that much of a problem. Under the guidance of one man, there was a master there, spirit of the gourd, possesses remarkable pink. Okay. Thank you, I guess. Oh, that's a cool one. What the hell is that? Oh no, more venom. Oh my god, that's more fun. There we go. Ah, okay, cool. So now, when we kill an enemy, we also get a little bit of a will. Am I a Dragon Ball fan? I mean, I know the story. I never watched the full, like, anime. But here in Mexico, Dragon Ball is kind of like a religion. So you gotta know your stuff, right? So I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan, but I don't dislike it, and I know about it, so... Oh my god. Okay, so these are like undead. That's pretty cool. See, for instance, this or those meshes right there. Okay, this is an interesting lesson for game programming. Every single one of those characters that was spawned right there were heavy in poly count, right? Because every single bone was made in a way that you had to have the mesh, right? It's not transparent; it's the actual mesh. And what happens there is they use that little sort of like disappearing animation at the end as a way to despawn the actor. So the meshes and everything, they get eliminated from the runtime engine. So you're not seeing it anymore. Yeah, even the cartel knows about Dragon Ball. Another one of this. So that's a good way to sort of like free up memory from the game. Once an actor or an element from the game is no longer in use, you just despawn it, right? Give me 1 second. There we go. No, I'm in Saltillo. I live in Saltillo, Alan. But Monterey is really close. 1 hour away. Are you in Saltillo? Are you in Monterey? This was made in Unreal Engine 5? I believe so. I believe it is Unreal Engine 5, yes. That was a good hit. I kind of like this non-linear level design. I mean, it's a little bit linear, but then you get this sort of like open areas. So that's pretty cool. Oh, there you go. It's a poison boss, and do I need like an anti-poison thing or something? Oh my god. But I'm not sure, like, I don't think I understand how the mechanic works for poison. Because it's not going away. Is there a way to cleanse it or something? Do I need, like, an antidote? Just with rest? Like, there's no way to... There's a lot of these guys in here. Are they respawning? Or I'm just getting like lost. See, now it got it went away. So there is some sort of like timer to it. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely more digestible than Elden Ring. Feels action adventure to me. Again, I would compare it to God of War. But the difficulty level is definitely a little bit higher. Because I don't remember dying as many times with the... What the hell? With the first boss of the... Of God of War. There we go. Xbox. I'm using Xbox controller. I don't like the PS controller, to be honest. Thank you, Hudson. Yeah, we're about to finish. I'm just gonna clear this zone and we'll be closing the stream as well, guys. I would love to play all day, but unless I was like Asmongold or something like that, getting a ton of money, I don't think I can afford it. I need to go back to work as well. Yeah, so that's it, guys. This was just a little bit of a show here on Wukong. We might play it a little bit more another time. Make sure to keep working on your 3D stuff. Check our premium courses. Check our information there on the Discord. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, okay? Are the hair cards? This is hair cards, man. Nishank, I'm pretty sure they're hair cards. So, yeah. Everyone, have a great weekend. I'll be seeing you back very, very soon. And that's it. Thank you very much, guys, for your support, for your continuous messages, and all of your amazing, what's the word? Yeah, just the support in general. So thank you, guys. Thank you very much. I'll be seeing you back on the next one. Bye-bye.